Who's going to make their mark on history this Saturday afternoon? Well, let's take a look at the very competitive field of 7 squaring off for this year's edition of the Stephen Foster. It's the classic champ from last year, Sierra Leone, starting from that 4 hole, sitting at 5-2 as the one to beat, and rightfully so. He was so close time and time again going through 2024, needed that statement performance, and he got it there for Chad Brown and the team at the Breeders' Cup Classic. Has had a start since that over at the fairgrounds, trying to get things going for 2025. So what version will we get from the big fella? Sierra Leone looking to take a big step forward through the 4-year-old campaign in the Stephen Foster. We teased it off the top. Kentucky Derby champion from 2024. Everyone was saying he was done. We're not going to get that version again. Lo and behold, Grade 3 Blame Stakes over there at Churchill. We saw that version of Mystic Dan once again. A bit of a course specialist. And I tell you what, beneath the Twin Spires, watch out. Look at this trip in the Blame Stakes. Very similar to the trip that we found going back a year in last year's Kentucky Derby. Look at this. Brian Hernandez asking for a little more and absolutely getting it late in this one for star trainer Kenny McPeak. Kenny McPeak adding a little bit of ink, getting the old tattoo a little earlier this week, but certainly has a great chance with Mystic Dan if we see a similar run to what we got in the Blame. In terms of fitness, looks to be a really good spot for Mystic Dan, and just something about this particular track, this particular course, that bodes so well. Of course, we're looking outside the top 2 contenders. We've got Mindframe starting from that 2 hole, sitting at 7-2 for trainer Todd Pletcher. There's always been a lot of expectation, and there's always been a lot of consistency from Mindframe. We saw it with a very impressive win last out. And you look at the racing resume, doesn't know how to finish outside of the top 2. 4 for 6 lifetime with 2 runner-ups to match there. Gets one of the best pilots in the business in Irad Ortiz aboard for this one. In terms of the game plan, can be quite versatile, can be tactical, but has also shown a decent jump from the starting blocks as well. So watch out for Mindframe for a decent jump to be sticking around late and proven to be a very big factor in this year's running of the Stephen Foster. Godolphin, who've been having a great run of it over the last 6 to 8 weeks, they bring in First Mission, the one here sitting at 4-1 for conditioner Brad Cox. Now, the 5-year-old figured it out last out over there in Oaklawn Handicap, turned up with a big performance. The numbers, a lot to like on that side of things as well. And starting from the inside, certainly going to benefit from that. It's a field of 7. Every horse is going to have a chance to run their race. And if you show up with a good enough performance, it could be enough to take it out with this year's edition. First Mission there for the Godolphin team. Louise Sayers getting aboard for the ride, has also found success out here at Churchill Downs before as well. Let's take a look at the numbers, the speed figures. By the numbers, the Beyer figures of horses who have run more than a mile on the main track this year. First Mission with a 109 in the Oaklawn Handicap. It was locked, Sovereignty, and Touch Upon a Star also rattling off 109 Buyers. White Barrio with a 108, very impressive in the Pegasus World Cup to start the year. And Journalism continues to write that script through 2025 as one of the best in the sport there, a 108 in the San Felipe. Some of the big contenders, some of the superstars that we'll get to see this weekend out there at Churchill. Hit Show, the 6, certainly looks to be one of those. The 5-year-old also trained here for Brad Cox, makes a fresh return. A couple of months removed from this massive performance in the Dubai World Cup. Hit Show turned up with a brilliant run. Florent Giroux will be aboard for the ride. And in terms of where we've seen Hit Show perform best, it's a little bit of everywhere. Can go on the road, can take the game, can show up with a big performance. And at first asking, you've got to imagine that Hit Show is going to be primed up for an almighty run in this one. Has been on the sidelines for a good couple of months, but you look at the morning workouts, they've been very, very impressive. I think this odds board is spot on. 6 of the 7 with a realistic shot of taking out the Stephen Foster. For Ashcroft, the 7 looks to be up against it. That is the only outsider on the outside looking into some of the big threats here for this weekend's Stephen Foster Stakes.